Factsverse presents the most hilarious windshield notes left on cars. There is nothing worse than pulling into a parking lot only to find that you can't park because of another driver who apparently doesn't know how to park or is just rude. Some people ignore it, they find another spot, others, though, they just can't keep quiet about it, so they leave nasty notes on the driver's windshield. And we have some of the most hilarious ones that we've found. Before we get into our list, though, help us spread the word about Factsverse by clicking that like button, and also be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss our future videos. Political issues. There is nothing more annoying than a person who takes up 2 parking spaces. This driver came out to his car to be insulted politically. The note reads, "Your vehicle occupies 2 parking spaces. You must be special or Republican." If the driver's a Democrat, that is kind of hitting below the belt. Printed copies. This person is serious about striking back at rude drivers. Rather than writing a note, he had a pre-printed version so that he can leave it on the windshields of people. The note calls drivers parking pigs. In the person's defense, parking in the neighborhood is scarce, so yeah, they shouldn't be taking up 2 parking spaces. Wow, just wow. The person who left this note took things to a whole new level. They didn't like the way the driver parked, so they left a note on the windshield that read, "Please don't reproduce." To add insult to injury, they left a condom with the note. That's just wrong. Funny, but wrong. Parking too close. The person who wrote this note must have had trouble getting into their car because the other guy parked too close to them. The note stated that the only way they could squeeze into their car is if they were a sardine. Well, if this note were left in the United States, the word bloody would have been replaced with that F-bomb. Spot. The driver who received this note was taking up more than one spot. The driver who was frustrated left a note with a picture of a dog named Spot. The note said the driver might want Spot since they took up so many parking spots. It is a printed copy, and the driver must leave these on windshields all the time. Reserved parking spot. The person who left this note is clever and quite artistic. They were also pretty angry that the driver parked in their spot. The driver drew a picture of Grumpy Cat, and apparently Grumpy Cat doesn't like it when people park in his spot. The driver threatened to have the car towed next time. I don't blame him. Very formal. This is a very formal note. The person who left it uses different fonts and colors. The note lets people know that they suck at parking and that the world doesn't revolve around them. It's simple, to the point, and kind of classy at the same time. A whole new level. The person who left this note took things to the extreme. Not only did they leave the note, they also covered the person's windshield with peanut butter and wrote, "Less expensive than having it towed." The driver of that car must have been angry. A bit of advice. Apparently this driver revs their engine in the morning, waking up their neighbors. The person decided to give the driver a little advice rather than insulting them. They let the driver know that revving the engine when the car is cold like that could blow a hose or a gasket. They hoped that understanding the damage they could do would also change their early morning behavior. A threat. The person who received this note parked in a spot that wasn't theirs. Rather than having the car towed, this time the driver decided to leave a strongly worded threat. If it happens again, it will be towed. And then some. Shoveling. In neighborhoods where people need to park on the street, they have to shovel a parking spot. The person who left this note worked hard to shovel a parking spot for their family only to find that somebody else ended up using that space. Rude. And the driver deserved a lot more than just a note. Who does that? This driver took up 2 spots by parking directly over the line. Another driver came by who clearly keeps chalk in the car and drew a line. In front of the line they wrote, "Parking spot just for you." They decided to draw attention to this insensitive driver. Breaking the law. The person who left this note broke the law and they are rotten to the core. They hit the car. Somebody saw them do it too, so they wrote a note. Instead of leaving their contact information, though, they wrote that they were just pretending to write a note so that the police wouldn't be called on them. A detailed diagram. This driver was blocked in by somebody who parked incorrectly. They drew a diagram with complete instructions. How thoughtful. Punishment. The person who left this note hit the other driver's car, but they apparently didn't feel bad about it because the driver took up 2 spaces instead of 1. They thought the punishment fit the crime. To make matters worse, they wiped the vehicle with a towel covered in sand to make the damage worse. That is pretty harsh punishment for somebody who just took up a couple of parking spaces. Hilarious. This retaliation for someone parking in the wrong space is great. They took the time to create potato people and left a note on the car. The driver threatened to return with an army if they ever parked in that wrong space again. Somebody has way too much time on their hands. Simple yet effective. The person who left this note didn't make threats. They simply asked that the driver park in their own spot. They did add a cute little picture, though. You're hurting everyone. The person who left this note typed it out and drew a diagram. They wanted the driver to know that when they take up 2 spaces, every driver must also. That means that somebody will be left without a place to park. And you know, that actually kind of makes sense. Hopefully the other driver agreed. Note for the police. This person parked illegally, but they wanted the police to know why they parked that way. They had to poop. Well, when nature calls, there are times when you just have no choice but to answer. Subscribe for more.